Mchunu has resumed his work as one of the NEC members of the ANC. But that's the thing. Not long ago, few days ago, the ANC came and said that Senzo Mchunu said nothing to them. Senzo Mchunu did not speak to them. They're just hearing from newspapers. Senzo Mchunu never approached them. Who is telling the truth? And why do you think that the ANC was trying to misdirect us to actually not have this conversation of Senzo Mchunu potentially resuming his duties in the ANC?
Viewers have forgotten he wrote to the party requesting that he steps aside so that he's able to deal with this. Are you ready to accept him?
He hasn't written to us. We all have picked it up on social media, and up until he communicates through the Secretary General, the party will then consider. Remember, I didn't come here to deal with the Madlanga Commission. You invited me to come and deal with the march and allow the ANC to deal with these issues. We know they are very delicate issues that the nation is awaiting the ANC to respond to.
His spokesperson, Mr. Mchunu.
His spokesperson has never written to the ANC, nor have they actually called the ANC. Senzo Mchunu knows how to communicate with the ANC.
But as the party,
we accepted him opting not to be active in the African National Congress,
right,
and we appreciated that within the spirit of renewal. And now that you are raising this matter, we'll wait until he submits to us. He hasn't been to the meeting with an NWC this Monday. After the spokesperson had spoken, he was not in our NWC. We've got a program in KwaZulu-Natal. He's not there. And he knows he will have to communicate with the Secretary General. And for now, Senzo Mchunu is not active in the ANC.
And despite what we have heard, you yourself have said that a lot has come out. Do you feel that he has adequately addressed and checked all of the boxes that allows him to get back into active political duty in the ANC?
We had his spokesperson who has yet to hear from Senzo Mchunu. For now, he has not approached his party, the African National Congress.
ANC has been under a lot of scrutiny for the past few months, and actually years now. It has been under a lot of scrutiny, but it got even worse when its minister was implicated to be member of the cartel, or to in a way enabled the cartel. As our general said, that Senzo Mchunu enabled the cartel more than anything, and that the disbandment of the PKTT was actually influenced. He didn't do it because he wanted to actually be the one who disbands the PKTT. He was influenced because of everything that was happening at that particular time.
When you were here, General, I asked you about Minister Senzo Mchunu. I think the question that I asked is, do you have evidence proving that he is linked to criminal syndicates and drug cartels? And I think you gave a very fair response there too, because you said there are matters that you are still investigating surrounding him, and you have identified some trust account and so on and so forth. Now, General, my perspective here at this stage is that there is no adequate evidence that links him to criminal syndicates and drug cartels. Where we find him wrong is in relation to the decision that he took to disband the PKTT. It is my view. I can argue it for a couple of minutes, but because I don't have enough time, it is my view that he does not have constitutional powers, and neither does he has statutory powers to do what he did. But with regards to the other allegation, there is no adequate evidence proving it to be correct. What is your take?
I can't agree with you more, honorable member. I've said it before. I met the minister in 2024, if I'm not saying just before the elections. Elections come. The minister appoints chief of staff. It's a minister that I was introduced to as being the good man. So when a letter is written on the 31st of December, I feel I must reach out to the person that I was introduced to so that I can be able to warn him about the implication of this so that he can retract it. And I'm not granted the opportunity. So the events that follows thereafter, all the way up until I send him a WhatsApp pleading with him to meet so that I can be able to discuss this role of Bohoti that has come to the picture and the canon. The minister acknowledges that, but he still doesn't grant me that opportunity. And then other evidences that comes out, we then realize that minister was consciously aware about the intentions of the people that are within the organization. to shut down this team. To what extent did he know that they were going to shut down the team? For what purpose? I'm not sure whether we have the reason for that for now. This statement of someone that comes from prison, that seems to suggest certain things. And the witness E at the Madlanga Commission that recorded the minister when he was pleading with him to give a statement, and the presentation the minister made here regarding the work study investigation, amongst others, it made me conclude that the minister is protecting people. He's using justification that does not exist. CFO disputes it, everyone else disputes what he presents here as the reason for the letter. So it then leaves me with one conclusion. He was assisting the CBS, who in turn are assisting the cartel squad. So when you are assisting in that fashion, you might not be directly involved, but directly you are allowing the criminality to take place. So that is my conclusion. That's why I kept on saying, if he was honest, he was going to say, I was influenced by so and so and so and so and so and so. And we can easily forgive him for that. But he's not being honest about that. He says he's an author. If he's an author, then he gets into the constitutional question. What gives you the powers?
That was followed by Senzo Mchunu actually defending himself, obviously, and he was put on leave, special leave by the president. And subsequent to that, he decided to take what we call a step down from the ANC. I don't know what was the purpose of that. I don't know why he did that. Maybe he wanted plenty of time for him to try influence people, because we found out from one of the witnesses that appeared before the Madlanga that he actually wanted to make this man to write a statement or say a testimony in a way that would have benefited Senzo Mchunu.
Ngiyabhala ngisesethi angikhe lokhu zenendlini ngibhale izinto eziwu 1 2 3 4 ngibhale izinto eziwu 5 mengizokuthatha ekuqaleni ngibhale from igama isibonge address lezinto eziphezulu paragraph 1 ngabhala hello yes mana ubhalile uqedile manje noma kwaqeda angakaqedi ngithi bengifuna ukusilungisa sengibhalile kodwa ngicabanga ukuthi ngiqedile kodwa manje kufanele ngistype ngoba manje bengifuna ukuthi kodwa uqale uzwe ukuthi ngibhale kanjani. WhatsApp la kule ndoda losuqedile salo. Oh, okay.
And we also found out from the letter that was released when Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi appeared that actually Batoyi as well as IDAC went and tried to convince Mr. Matlala to refuse knowing Senzo Mchunu. So I don't know that he stayed at home because he wanted this whole time for him to actually sway people, sway decisions, and try to convince people that actually he's an innocent man. He didn't do that. As if that was enough. He then put some icing in the cake by having those night visuals, people praying for him, saying that he's innocent, saying that, you know what, I didn't do anything. He then asked later on that he wants Lieutenant Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi to come with evidence that he actually did the things that Lieutenant Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi says he did.
Please, let us be decent. We may not like people and then we make allegations about them, but please bring evidence. So I advise in that letter that he should take whatever evidence to the Madlanga Commission.
Even though we all know as South Africans that there is evidence that Senzo Mchunu either enabled this or had communication with these certain people. Because we saw from chats that actually Senzo Mchunu, there was events that he was paid for, this presidential campaign was about to be paid for by Matlala. It's just a lot of evidence. Even though there is no direct evidence that he actually communicated with these individuals. There is no direct evidence that there is communication between Senzo Mchunu directly with Matlala. Always there is a middle person and his name pops up. We even know that he was really mentioned a lot when it came to assisting Matlala with his tender when it failed, in terms of with them not ordering the subs or taking orders, ordering from him and him taking orders from the subs. In this whole thing that I've just told you, it looks like Senzo Mchunu is very guilty and that he unlawfully disbanded the PKTT without communicating with certain people.
But if he crosses that, then it's the Mkhwanazi hurdle. What does he do? Does he fire Senzo Mchunu? Does he not? By the way, Senzo Mchunu looks very defiant to me.
Yes. He sounds like a man who knows something we don't know.
Exactly. And if, for example, the president doesn't fire him, I just think his credibility would be at an all-time low again.
You know, we don't have any more evidence about his involvement in other things, but we have evidence that this person disbanded the PKTT unlawfully. So I don't know when he says that he dares Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi to actually prove and actually come with evidence, because the evidence of your unlawful disbandment is there. But in this whole thing, what shocks me the most is the role of the ANC and how the ANC denied that it has its intention and that it denied that Senzo Mchunu had an intention of coming back to the ANC. Is that they came with this bomb that Senzo Mchunu is actually resuming his work as an NEC member. I think the ANC itself is so embarrassed about what it did. I think it's so embarrassed about what it did. Because how do you deny? How do you say that this person is not approached us, this person, and you don't want to answer the questions? Then all of a sudden, we see such news that actually this person has resumed their work as the NEC member. Even one of the people that we interviewed by ENCA said a very important thing, that President Cyril Ramaphosa was supposed to remove Senzo Mchunu a long time ago.
There's so much evidence that indicates that the Minister of Police, Senzo Mchunu, should be fired. I mean, it's gross. I would just the smell of it. You shouldn't be the minister any aside from me and you. You should go. But why is there hesitation? What is it that he knows which the president fears? People ask. And it's an easy question, but people will ask that easy question. What is he afraid of?
You tell me.
I don't know.
You know him.
I don't know. I know him. I don't know the interactions. I'm a businessman now doing my things. I don't know what they're doing alone there.
And what is worse is that President Cyril Ramaphosa has denied that Senzo Mchunu actually approached him about the disbandment. Has said that he did not even know clearly that there's actually going to be the disbandment of the PKTT. He found out from the National Police Commissioner. Those, to me, are signs of guilt. They are signs of guilt, and they're bringing this guy back as an NEC member. And guys, I want you to look at this. He was very strategic about this approach because he waited for the National Police Commissioner to be summoned. Then he came back. Because if he came back before, definitely the people are going to lash at this. They're going to make this a big deal. Now, it seems like it was not really a big deal because it's that thing about even the National Commissioner, most guys, is guilty. Let this guy go and work in the ANC NEC. It's not like he's a minister. He's just doing his party duties. I'm not going to lie. I'm not shocked that the ANC did all of this. They've always done it. Look at Nkabane. Nkabane lied. She was even found guilty. But what did she do? She went back and she was made a deputy chief whip. They just give you umhlala phasi month or so, a weeks, and relax, do things that will make you to be in the good light. Do some community service. And then come back. When you come back, people are going to accept you because they see that when you're an innocent man, you're trying by all means, even though the society might be divided. But there'll be those who will believe in your plight. Those who will be on your side. Same thing with Nkabane. When she came back, we were so busy as a country. We didn't even look at the situation properly. That why did she come back? It's the same thing with Mkhwanazi. They creep them inside back into the party when we are not even that focused. But they are denying. They were denying not long ago. Unomvula Makonyane, the Deputy Secretary General of the ANC, she denied. They said, no, Senzo Mchunu never said anything, even though it was on each and every media headlines that Mchunu is going back to the NEC. And she said, we don't know anything. Then all of a sudden we are hit by the fact that he's back as the member of the NEC. I don't know what you guys think about this creepy, snaky behavior of the ANC. Do you think they themselves are embarrassed and they believe that actually Senzo Mchunu is guilty? Because if someone is not guilty, someone didn't do anything, I believe that they could have confidently said, if he wants to come back, he must come back. Because we as the party, we don't see our man as a person who's guilty. Hence, if you guys have realized, one of the biggest arguments and biggest questions that were pushed by the members of the ANC in that ad hoc committee, especially Ukuselo and the chief whip of the ANC, they were pushing a lot of that thing of, where's the evidence? Senzo Mchunu part of the cartel. as if you could see the signs, you could see what they're trying to do. The point that they're trying to push to is to prove that Senzo Mchunu is not guilty and that Senzo Mchunu didn't do anything and that they're just assuming. And there's no evidence against him, even though there is a lot of evidence, especially since it disbanded. This disbandment is even the worst because there is a lot of evidence that links him directly. Nonetheless, guys, let me hear your thoughts. Let me hear what you think about this whole thing and these whole developments. Do you think, nonetheless, guys, I'll see you on my next upload. Bye.